Go. Echo, leave it. You gotta leave it. Get, leave it. Back to camp. Back to camp. Let's go back to camp. Back to camp. No. Come on, back to camp. What the heck is this? I've never seen anything like this before. It looks alien. You see how big it is? It's about as big as my hand. I want to poke at it, but I don't want to disturb anything. Is there something in there? It's hard. It's like a fungus. It looks like it's full of like eggs or something. It doesn't look like sap. You know, it is a dead tree, so that must have something to do with it. That is really weird. I'm so curious what that is. Put it down in the comments if you know what that is. I thought it was like a cocoon of some sort, or like some kind of a wasp nest. Oh, here's another one, but this one's like mud colored. Oh, that looks like fungus. Oh yeah, that's fungus. See, if I touch it, it's just powder. Don't want to breathe that in. We've had a lot of rain here, like day after day after day. And so a lot of clouds, which means not getting solar power. Obviously today it's like super sunny. So I just went to check the solar input, and there's a little problem. It should be reading that we're pulling in power from the panels into the batteries, but there's no power getting into the batteries. I'll show you what I'm seeing here. So down here under the spice rack is where I got the charge controller set up, and you can see it says, see, that's the voltage of the panels right there. And that's the amperage, and it says 0. And usually that would say about 1 or 2, something like that. And so you'd be pulling in about, I'd probably be pulling in about 60 watts. This is the voltage of the battery. And see, that looks messed up. Actually, it wasn't doing that a second ago. But I've been messing with the battery right now out on the front of the trailer. I'll show you what I found out there. Why is it jumping around like that? It should say about 13 volts, 12 or 13 volts. My wiring system here probably needs to be upgraded. That's probably the main problem, but you can see this fuse here it's all melted. So I'm gonna replace this whole thing. Let's pull this out and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's bad. I have replacement fuses, so it's not a big deal, and I have a whole fuse connection I can put in here. So we should be okay. There's something to be said for having the right tools and the right little like miscellaneous stuff that you're gonna need. I'm not an electrician, so y'all can leave your comments, you know, things that you think I should improve here. But I did have these fuse cables. It's just a short lead with a little fuse holder. And I have a bunch of fuses. I have heat shrink tubing, which I still got a heat shrink on here, which I have a heat gun. I just gotta get some AC power and then I can shrink the tubing on there and that'll help kind of waterproof it. But just having the right tools, you know, I got this whole kit here. This is my electronics kit. So everything in here is related to electrical stuff. So I've got tons of fuses here. I got that on Amazon. I'll put a link to that in the description because that was really cheap. I think that was like 12 bucks and it's got a little fuse gripper in there and then tons of fuses, all the fuses you'll need for your RV life or van life or whatever. And I also got these on Amazon too, which these are the fuse holders. And you know, you think like, oh, I'll just need one, but no, I bought like an 8-pack of these and I've already used several for other repairs that I needed. And you need some good wire cutters and then just basic other stuff. You know, you can see I got all kinds of stuff in here. This tool, I really like this thing, the Robo Grip. I'll put a link to this. It's basically so you don't have to get your socket set out because you just grip onto the bolt like that and it makes a tight grip to any size bolt. And so I use that to pull this bolt off of the battery. And I always have this thing ready. You know, I have a full socket set. I actually have multiple socket sets. Sometimes it's easier just to have something like this because you can just grab onto the bolt and just take it off real easily. And this doesn't mar the bolt because it grips it like super well. So let me show you what else I got here in my kit. Here I got a bunch of tubing, connectors, all kinds of different connectors, switches, alligator clips, and more wire nuts. And finally, I have this battery terminal protector. So I'll spray this on the terminal since I got the battery open just to keep it from corroding. It's doing pretty good up here, but I've had it get really corroded before. You can see the date on the battery there. It's I got it in 2020, right when we started Nomad Life. I'm gonna get some lithium batteries here probably pretty soon, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna try and do a lithium battery install myself, get all the wiring for that. That's gonna be a little process for me. All I have is 2 little solar panels up there and that's all the power I'm bringing in. Let me show you what the charge controller is reading now that I got the wiring all hooked up. I'm not really sure what was causing the problem. Like obviously the fuse blew, but I'm not sure why it blew. I've been running the generator a lot. You know, I've been using a fair amount of power because we've been inside because of the rain. So I'm not sure exactly, but I mean, that fuse was melted. So you can see here now, it's actually shady right now. So it's 1 amp. And, you know, this is telling me the battery voltage and the solar panel voltage that's coming in. And then you multiply, let's see, now it's at 9 amps. You multiply 9 amps by the solar panel. So it's actually about 10 times 12. So that means it's pulling in about 120 watts, which is a lot. The way I noticed that I was having an issue was usually I hit this battery button and if I have sunlight, I'll get 2 or 3 lights up here because that means I'm getting a lot of power in. And I hit this button and it was just staying at 1. And so that made me double check the solar charge controller. I have to use the generator to get AC power. I do have a small inverter, but I don't think it's powerful enough for the heat gun. And then I'd have to run an extension cord, so it's easier for me to just kind of move the generator around. And that thing, man, that thing is trusty. I'll put a link to that in the description. I keep saying I'm going to do a full review on that generator, and I will. But check out that link if you just need a generator right now, a cheap one. This thing has lasted me 4 years on the road, and I use it to run the air conditioner. Like, for real, like it runs that air conditioner with a soft start. If you install a soft start, then you can use that small generator to run the AC. It's on the lowest setting right now. You can hear it's pretty quiet. I mean, it's really very quiet. It does have a higher setting that's a little bit louder, and that's what you need to run the air conditioner. So I'm going to use the heat gun to do the heat shrink on the new wiring that I put in, just to keep it kind of waterproof, and then we should be good to go. It's just kind of one of those things that I noticed, and it's like, oh, I need to fix that right now because I've been aching for power lately, and now I kind of know why, because I thought the solar was working, but you know, whenever the sun comes out, it should be getting a little bit of solar power, but I've been having to run the generator to power the trailer for the last several days just to keep the batteries kind of charged up. This is how we live. This is our nomadic lifestyle. So these things kind of come up and you just kind of go with the flow, and you have to fix them as soon as you can and do it safely. And it helps to have the right tools, the right gear, and a little bit of know-how. You can use YouTube and look that stuff up, and that's how I learned how to do a lot of this stuff. Hit that like button, let us know you're watching. We like to know you're watching. And by the way, we got a Patreon now, so you can join our Patreon and you can see behind the scenes footage. I got a bunch of deleted scenes and a bunch of updates that I do just for Patreon members. So check that out if you want. Otherwise, just hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the next video.